That grill looks like a Jeep.
Looks really
That is
big.
so
Look at that
cool.
Jeep
Front
thing.
end
Wow.
is
What even
wild.
is
I love
it?
that color.
We need a photo
Now
with
that's
Is that even a
something you
Jeep?
don't see
This
every
thing
day. Is wild.
Welcome back to the channel. Today I get to share something truly special. You've never seen a build like this. It's custom, it's incredibly rare, and it's one of a kind. Yeah, it's a Jeep, but not the kind you'd expect from the 60s. Or is it? It's got deep four-wheel drive roots, some military heritage, and it gets attention everywhere it goes like you would not believe. Not only do I get to introduce you guys and have a long conversation with Roy, the owner and creator of this vehicle, but I get to ride around in this thing all day long, on-road, and yes, even off-road. This might just be my favorite 4x4 of all time. So stay right there. I'm about to show you this beast in full detail. First of all, thank you for doing this for me. I think last second kind of deal, because I think you got a phone call yesterday. Or
Yeah, we have a mutual friend.
Yeah, Robert Glenn, I will say his name. He's a really good dude that I've known for a long time. Not as long as you. You guys have known each other from way back.
We have, yeah.
In fact, he says he was there for some of the restoration of this.
He was.
I'd love to dig into this, but I just want to start to open it up to, I'm super stoked about this vehicle. First of all, I saw it long before I even knew Robert knew you. On the SEMA videos that they did from 2019, you said? Fell in love with it, then found out that this guy knows you well enough to set this up. But I'm in love with this truck, the color, everything about it. But I'm also interested in how you found it and the process that it took to restore it. So I'm gonna just open up like that. First of all, can you introduce yourself to the camera, to the viewers?
Yeah. My name is Roy Wallace, and I am the proud owner of this 1964 Jeep M677. They didn't make a lot of these things. They only made about 500 total in production of various different models. They had 4 different models. They had the M676, 677, 678, and 679. We talked about a little bit on the drive up here. The main differences was that with them was they either had the standard cab or the 4-door like this one here. They had a van version and an ambulance version of them. And they didn't make, like I said, they didn't make a lot of them. There's even fewer of them left. I had 2 of these at one point, not both of them fixed up. The history on this particular truck here, how it came about, and I had a friend of mine who I'd been talking to for a while, and he knew I was looking for a truck, and I knew there was one in the area, and he lives in that area. And then while I was gone on another trip with one of my other trucks, he calls up my wife, and wives can be for or against having a vehicle or project.
The stranger's not sure if they should talk much.
Right. So the wife got the phone call, and talking to Sean, he says he's got this truck, and I found this truck, and she's like, okay, so she starts talking to him. Like I said, unbeknownst to me, I'm on this trip. So we take and I come back, and she's sitting in her chair, and she goes, oh, Sean called. And I said, oh, yeah, okay. So something about a truck, and my my interest is like, oh, okay. Says, yeah, you were looking for a truck, and I says, yeah. I says, the guy was very close to Sean up there, and so she got the number from Sean, and it says, and you know, did you call? I said, oh, I waited a few days. I'm going, oh, you don't wait on these things. You call right away, otherwise somebody else will buy the deal. He says, I called, and the guy says, yeah. I said, I just sold it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just stick a knife in me, you know, I'm done.
Kill me now.
Yeah. So, and she goes, yeah. Says, I sold it to somebody called Anita Wallace, and that's my wife's name. And you know, it's like hook, line, and sinker. You know,
I really like your wife, but she's cool.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so anyway, so she had bought the thing for me, and I was all excited about that point, you know. She got
Can we go get it? Can we go get it?
Yeah, that type of thing, which we did. We went and got the thing, and it was, and picture it, you know, obviously not like it is now, but it was, picture on this, in basically the side of a hill, where years ago they bladed off a spot for a house or a plant, you know, put something on, just a flat spot on the side of a hill next to where their house is. And this truck's been parked there. It's been parked there so long that the dirt had been coming down off the hill and covered about half of the wheel.
Kidding.
So that's a lot of years.
Just runoff.
Just runoff. Just sitting there. And, you know, so it'd been sitting there for a long time. The truck itself was in pretty good shape, physically looking at the body. It had rust in all the normal places like the doors and things, and it was just a lot of junk around it. But overall it was in pretty good shape. So I had brought some extra tires and wheels with me, knowing it might not want to roll.
Right.
So we dug it out, got it where we could change out the wheels on it, or tires and wheels, and we got it up on the trailer, brought it back to the house, and me being me, I started monkeying with the thing. It had a small block Chevy in it, didn't know any history on it other than it was a small block Chevy. It had some other things on the back, some brackets and things, didn't have the fenders on it that would normally be there. And so started doing some system checks, making sure it was, you know, maybe try to get the thing started. You know, changing out spark plug leads that were rotted out, or
I'm sure they were gone.
Yeah, a lot of stuff was.
Yeah.
You know, just all the things you do prior to starting a motor up. You know, and the carburetor had an old Holly carburetor on it, and fortunately it's inside a cab. It's not like it's got a hood that's open and things are getting in it. So it's inside the cab.
It was out of the elements.
It was out of the elements, and there was no engine doghouse on it at the time either. There was a homemade one that was in the back. And so, but look inside the carburetor, there's all these Legos in there, so kids have been playing around the thing.
That's funny.
So, yeah, so I take them, I bolt the carburetor. No, it was, but fortunately I pulled the carburetor off, and the butterflies were closed, so nothing got down inside. I thought, okay, it's clean, it looks good. There's no sand, there's no dirt, there's nothing in there. So I take all the Legos out, shake them out, and did a real quick inspection of the carburetor, stuck it back on. Didn't do any rebuild or anything. So then we did more checks and stuff. We got a gallon of fuel, ran it over to the carburetor, and tried turning it over a little bit. Hooked the coil up and fired the thing up. It ran.
Right then, the same day?
That's, well, not the day I brought it home, like the next day.
Wow.
But yeah, this was all happened like the next day I had this thing running.
Wow.
So we stuck some other wheels I had on it, and it was, you know, the suspension was all funky. It's all, you know, front end's low, rear end's high. I don't know what they were doing when they had it, but anyway, leveled out the suspension. You know, I got it so I could drive it. Then over the years, you know, I'm a junkyard guy. I like to go into the junkyards and finding parts.
It's a place to find some great parts.
It is, especially if it's on half price day like it used to be.
Yeah, great prices.
So I found some Dana 60s at the junkyard that was going to work. I started finding, you know, different transmission. So we started doing changes on the things. Then did that for a lot of years driving it, and then the engine finally blew up. Through a rod.
The original engine.
The original engine was in it. That was in it that somebody else had put in it.
Sure.
Originally this would have had a 3-cylinder stirless diesel in it,
yeah.
which were completely gutless.
Right. And smoked like crazy.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, at that point I took it down to the frame. We got a crate motor to put in it, small block Chevy. This is before I knew anything about LS motors, which that's a whole other story. So we did the ground up, and then a buddy of mine who has a shop, I asked him about coming and painting it. Then he put that little bug in the ear, hey, we should take this to SEMA. Yeah. Because he'd been to SEMA several times.
So what year did you start from the ground up? In accordance with getting it to SEMA, like how long ago?
Well, we took it to SEMA in 2019, so we were probably started in 2018.
Oh wow, so not terribly long.
Yeah, not terribly long. I'm usually, when I get on a project, I usually want to get it done.
Sure.
You know, if I can make all the pieces come together and everything works, I don't like to let things sit. And it's hard to do, as anybody knows that's done a project. It's easy to take something apart. It's a lot harder to take it and put it back together.
Well, especially with parts that don't exist and parts that aren't really for this. And all
so when we got on that path to go to SEMA, working with sponsors and different companies, it opened up some things that we wasn't expecting, like modifying bumpers. Like this is actually a JK bumper, but obviously it's modified to fit this truck. So we had to do some framework to make this fit. We've added these little extensions on the side here to help cover things, actually make it look better.
Yeah.
So it's all customized.
It originally would have come up here like this.
Exactly. For a JK, that would have been fine. Cutting like where your hand is, that had to be cut to go around the body shapes here.
Yeah.
So making the rack that you see on the top there, that's all customized. The brackets you see there, I have to customize all those brackets to make all that fit onto the cab, because obviously that doesn't just bolt up to an FC.
No. Probably nothing bolts up to an FC.
No, nothing does. Everything, pretty much everything on these trucks has to be custom made.
To some
custom
extent.
fitted.
Yeah.
I've got, this one's got JK seats in it all the way around with Bartak seat covers, but we've also used that to do the interior work also, like all the door panels and stuff, so it kind of ties together.
Sure. It looks amazing. Well, we were talking on the way up here, I just was like, how many windows do you have? Just because everything on this has to come from another one, but you surprised me and said there are companies that still make the windshields for this.
Yes, there is a company that still makes the windshields for these things. Yeah, amazingly enough, and there's enough people out there fixing these trucks. And the funny thing is, I didn't tell you about that earlier, is, usually when you have one of these trucks and you find out you can't just go to the store and buy parts for them.
Right.
So when I first did the red truck, when I first rebuilt the red truck, I had to get like the door weather stripping, okay? It's not like you just go down and get a kit. Most of the stuff is non-existent on it, or it's just really in bad shape. It's hard to tell what it is. So you start, fortunately there was a upholstery shop not far from where I live, and I was able to go over there, and I brought the truck in there, and the owner of the store came out, and he's a great guy. And he comes walking out, he says, I told him, I got this truck, I need to get weather stripping for it. He goes, okay, so we walk inside, and he starts going inside, he cuts little pieces from all of his different things that he thinks might work. And he gets a little bit of double stick tape on it. And he'd open the door up, and he'd go, watch this. And he'd just look, and he says, watch this. And he'd open the door up, and he'd stick it in the door jamb, and we'd close the door. He goes, see how that seals? That's not real good. I mean, that's it. That's how he would do it. And he'd go, he'd get another piece, watch this. He kept doing that, and he'd close it again. Look, this one seals good. That's the one we're going to use.
Yeah.
And he did that throughout the entire process.
Every one of the seals.
Yeah, on the doors.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is great. So I had this whole list of things. I go back, and I got these things. I put them all in the truck after I get it painted, and it seals really good. It sealed so well that I always had to crack the window a little bit to close the door, because otherwise the door wouldn't shut.
Blow the other door out.
Yeah, because if you know new cars and stuff, they seal so tight, but there's somewhere in the bodywork, there's a flap that opens to let the air out. Okay,
back corner of the car.
Old vehicles like this didn't have that because they didn't seal well.
Right.
So I find myself having to crack the window sometimes. If the door doesn't want to shut, I'll crack the window a little bit and it shuts just fine.
Modern problems for older vehicles.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's So on my second truck I got, I had another truck that I did. Like I said before, I've had 11 of these trucks at one time, not all fixed up.
Right.
So my second truck I went to do the same thing. So I just pull out my receipt from last time, go to the guy, hey, I need another set of these things. So talking with somebody else says, hey, you should make these things available for sale. So now,
because there's enough to make windshields, why not these?
Exactly. That's where I'm leading with all this things. Is I started making these kits, and I thought, okay, I'll make up like 5 kits. Well, next thing I know, I'm making 10 kits. Next thing I know, I'm making 12, or a dozen kits, or 20 kits, or whatever at a time. And I'm selling more of these things than I ever thought.
Yeah.
And so that tells me every time I sell a kit, that's another truck that somebody's restoring. So, and I've sold, I don't know what the numbers is, but it's got to be well over 100 kits that I've sold for these trucks. So the windows, like to say, the windshields are still available. There was 2 companies making them. There's only 1 making them now. So we're trying to support that, and keep them going.
But you're part of a club, you said, and there's quite a few out there still.
Once you get one of these trucks, you're kind of a part of the club automatically. Like you got an FC, like, oh, you're part of the club. It's like when you buy a Jeep. A lot of times you're part of the, you got the Jeep Wave. Yeah, exactly. So you're part of that club.
With 2 of them, does that make you like the vice president of the club? Or?
No, believe it or not, there was one guy who had like 30 of these trucks. There's actually a couple of guys who had like 30 of these trucks. So if I had 11 of them at one time, I was like a drop in the bucket. It's like, that's a good start, type of thing.
Nice try. You thought you were something.
Right.
Really. Redone, engine, whatever it may be. What's your favorite thing on this truck?
When you build something like this from the ground up, it's hard to put your finger on any one thing, because all of it means something, because you've done something.
You had a part in all of it.
It's just, people ask me that question all the time. And I think the best thing I like about this particular truck is it's a 4-door, and I can take people with me.
Yeah.
and they can also enjoy the fun. So, you know, I've had my grandkids, I've had other friends and stuff in the back of this thing. We've taken on different trips. And I think that's the most fun because they can enjoy the ride, basically.
And by the way, it's an amazing ride. Amazing ride. Smooth as can be. We talked a lot about on the way up here, and as soon as we hit dirt, about how, you know, in any other Jeep, you'd feel the bump before you went over it. On this, you go over the bump, and then you feel it because the wheels are right on the wheel. But really, you feel like you're way out in front of the wheel. Way out in front of it. But you're not that far out, but it sure feels like it.
And how was the ride?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So smooth. And I agree. If you were able to air down, it would have changed it even more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're not even air down for this. Yeah. Of course, we don't really need it for this terrain right here right now. But out in the desert where we go, or for doing some hills up in the mountains and stuff, we got a lot more rock. You air down. It's an amazingly smooth ride.
It sure is. What suspension is on this right now? Is this what was SEMA, or is this changed?
No, it's a stock leaf spring.
Okay.
The only thing we've done is we've added, I think, 1 or 2 leaves to the front. And the back, basically anything on the back was we rotated the shackles around to give us the lift on the back.
Okay.
So there's, and like I say, with as many of these trucks as I've done, I've learned what works and what doesn't work, and you know, watching what some other people have done too. So I try to make things look as close to what factory would have done, because there's a lot of people with any builds that are just hacks.
Right.
You know, they make it work. Well, to make it work's one thing, but make it work and make it look good.
And this was used in the military, the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Army?
No, just it was a Navy contract. Yeah, it was a Navy contract, so I went to the Marines, which is, you know, the men's department of the Navy, from what I hear.
I was a Marine, so I appreciate you saying that. I really do. And would love a green one maybe one day. It says USMC on the door.
Yep.
That'd be awesome.
Being easy on these bumps, I'm getting
not
bad. You can see how smooth it is.
Very smooth, very smooth. Yeah, and as we all say, the film or the camera does not do the bumps justice.
No.
Never ever does.
It's one of those things we never got fixed.
Never. Never does it justice. Yeah, they did. I can tell you this is no worse, probably better than my Wrangler, the ride.
Yeah.
Seems much smoother. And still getting used to that floating over the wheel sensation.
Hey, your visibility is great.
Oh yeah, you talk about you don't need a front camera. We stood next to this thing for a while. How did this thing start life?
Well, it started off as a bumper for a JK. Trying to find something that's going to fit this thing and get kind of close to still look good. We found that the JK bumpers, width-wise and mount-wise, work really good. Because on the frame, we can extend a bracket on the front and make a plate that the JK bumper just bolts right to. So now we can, if we get tired of this bumper, we can actually go to another JK bumper to make that work. So when we first put this on here at SEMA, we didn't have these little skirts, and we got a little bit of comments, you know, and saying it looked like a mustache on here because it came up, you know. So, which it did.
I guess you could say that.
You know, then we got Baja Design lights like everywhere on this
Yeah,
thing.
I see that.
They work really well. Sure. Work really well.
I bet you can light up the whole forest with this thing right now.
Yeah, well, it's great when you come into a campsite at night.
Oh yeah, it's lovely. I love it.
Yeah. In front of here also, you may have noticed we have a 12-volt plug up here, plus an air outlet up here too.
Nice.
So we have air outlets in 4 different spots around the truck, so we can walk around here a little bit. So on the side, we also have outlets on both sides for air. So I got outlets on all the way around. So there's a York compressor on the motor. So it's a belt-driven compressor. I don't know if you're familiar with those. A York compressor is basically like a AC compressor, but it's been modified to be an air compressor.
Okay.
And it runs off a fan belt in there.
So it runs off the engine?
It runs off the engine.
Okay.
So I got no shortage of air.
None.
I can run power tools off that.
I was going to say, is it tank?
Yeah, there's a 5-gallon tank underneath there too.
You can run anything off that.
Yeah. So what's also nice to go like that is we also have an onboard welder.
Kidding. Look at that. You're like a full support vehicle right here.
Well, that's kind of what we were doing with this truck is to start with, was to be, if we're on the trail, somebody breaks down, we can help support that.
You've got the room to put it all in the truck.
So, and it works well. I mean,
and that's running off the vehicle battery, or is there?
Yeah, the alternator's got a special alternator which powers that thing. Yeah. And obviously there's throttle control right here, so you control your basically your power right here with this.
Okay.
That's got 110 outlet on there too, so all that makes it really nice.
Very nice. Everything has a space.
Yep, and then other toolboxes have different supplies. It may be, I think I got a little handheld grinder in here that goes along with the grinder, so we need to grind some stuff before we weld it. We can actually do it right. So that's that and some other tools.
Well, I need you to follow me anywhere I go nowadays, because I'm getting to the point where things are going to start to break.
Yep. And then we got the power tank on the back. We've got work lights on here. And then moving around the back here, it's opened up. Got the fridge. Yep, we got the fridge.
How do you like the ARB, just while we're at the fridge?
It works okay. I have the ARB in here. We won this at a raffle. Okay. And it works well for me. In our other truck, we have the Engel. Okay. And if I'm familiar with Engelfridge,
I'm an Iceco through and through.
Okay.
Iceco is where I started and where I'll finish. But.
Yeah. I never really put much thought into different fridges and stuff, because I looked at Iceco, I've looked at Dometic, and all these different things. Yeah. But it wasn't until I was at the one of the shows, and Engel was there. And the only reason why I knew about Engel is I was, from my other truck, which we'll talk about sometime, I needed a slide out because it sets up about this height right here on the back of the bed. Sure. And I needed a slide out that I could bring out to bring the fridge out, because it sets up too high, it's too hard to get into it. So I'm at this show in Costa Mesa, and Engel was there, and that slide was there. And I walked up to him, hey, I'm looking for that slide. And then I started talking about their fridge. And so I was going to order one of their fridges once I started learning about it. But then they asked me to go to the Overland Expo West. They saw my truck, and they said, hey, we'd like to see your truck in our booth at Overland Expo West. Can we make that happen? Which I did. Yeah. And they hooked me up with a fridge. Okay. And which was good. Yeah. But more importantly is I learned a lot about fridges. So anytime you hang out with a manufacturer and you learn about what they have or what others may or may not have.
What compressor they're using.
And then like I say, prior to that, I really didn't know about Engel. Right. But that 3 days I was at the Overland Expo, there were so many people came in talking about, oh, I've had an Engel for 20 years.
No kidding.
I've had it for this long. It's still, one guy came in, he says, I was given one as a graduation present from my parents, and I still have it. It works just fine.
And this guy's old and gray and long.
And he graduated in '75 when I did.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And it's like, and then people come in and says, oh yeah, I've had this thing since this.
And they're small like this to fit in vehicles.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of them.
Yeah, they have a drawer type that comes out. They're really known for their dry boxes, like for the fishing industry.
I was going to say, they have to have an industry somewhere that they're in all the time.
The movie industry, they're big in that.
Okay.
And they were doing overlanding stuff early on, but then they didn't pursue it very much, and now they're trying to come back into it now.
I'd love to look into them. I'm going to.
Yeah, they're good. Their compressor, what sets them apart, because their compressor has one moving part.
No kidding.
They have, and like I say, it's all this stuff I learned over there, and I'm sure I'm butchering it somehow, but they basically have like a piston that runs in there, like an electromagnetic field, so it goes back and forth, and it's all does it. And it's very quiet, very efficient. Yeah, so like I say, after hearing the stuff about them, and it's like, wow.
I'm glad you told me about it, because I'd like to.
Now they may not have all the whistles and bells, but
they'll figure out that they can sell for more.
There was a guy who came in. He said for 2 weeks prior, I think it was 2 weeks prior to the show, him and a buddy, his Jeep and the guy's Toyota, they had were doing some trail. I got another story just reminded me of too. This trail, and the strap broke in the back of the Jeep. Okay, and the thing's just banging around all over the place.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
literally.
getting hammered in the back of this Jeep.
It was
The guy
rolling
couldn't
around.
yeah, he couldn't tell it was loose back there on this trail. It wasn't until they stopped. It's like, oh crap, you know, it's got a couple of dents and stuff in it because it came loose from the mount they had, and but it keeps working just fine.
Which isn't normal for a refrigerator or a compressor. You turn it upside down, it usually doesn't.
Right, it doesn't matter. You can put that thing on its side and it'll run. Yeah, it doesn't matter what
That's
that
a great
thing.
commercial for that.
Yeah. Going back to what we were talking about here.
Yeah.
So I got slide outs here, which you may not know. So I got tools and stuff back there, which
drawer
makes it
system.
nice.
Yeah.
You know, and then same thing with this one here. We've got a drawer here that pulls out, and it's like it's got lots of storage.
Wow. That's a kitchen and some chairs.
Yep.
Scuttle
Well,
of some sort, yeah?
I made this myself.
Yes, good.
'Cause
I've had
you
a
know-
buddy of mine did that.
Because you know,
They're
scottles
just discs.
yeah, exactly, and that's what that is. That's
Farmers have
plastic.
been doing that for hundreds of years.
It's also known as a cowboy walk.
Yes.
So anybody that knows the overlanding stuff, they're called scottles and stuff, but they've been known before that as cowboy.
Yeah, I've heard those stories.
Cowboy.
Yeah, I've heard the stories about farmers just taking a disc off their discer and.
Yep, and that's what that is right there.
Yep.
So then we also have water back here. So I'm using it earlier when I was getting the water
Oh,
for the
yeah.
dog. So I got a little switch right here.
How many gallons is that tank?
It's about 13 gallons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
about
good
13
amount of water.
Yeah, then I made this little tray back here out of some wood that we had. I got to recoat it. But that slides out because I got tired of trying to reach up
Oh
here
yeah,
all the
that
time.
slides out.
Yeah, so it slides back here. So I can slide this out and I can reach up there and I can slide that back and get my gear that's up there. Because before it was a pain in the butt.
Yeah, to get up in there, sure.
You know, and then I got a real shovel in here.
Yep. Best shovel around is a real shovel.
Yep. And then a table.
That's a propane. I saw your table. That's a great thing. I've seen those on other
Just
vehicles.
modified
before.
a Rebel off-road table mount. And I just modified that to fit in there. I had to redo the brackets.
Because they weren't the right distance.
Yeah, they weren't the right thing to fit where I needed them to fit. So it was made to fit their brackets. So I just changed that. And then we have another light underneath there too. Which, fortunately, it looks like it's blocked, but because this table is plastic, it glows through that.
Makes a nice, beautiful colored light
I
there.
don't know if I have that. That's not.
And then
turned
this
on
is your
right
chase lights? Or
yeah, it's actually a chase lights, or it can be. It's actually set up as turn and brake signals. But it can be set up as a chase. If I turn on with the S pod up front, I can make it flash or strobe wherever I want.
And then you got, I see propane around the tank over here.
Then we got air over here again.
Another air.
Water outlet there we can use for a shower.
Propane. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right here. Or no, that's just an awning.
That's just not it.
But you could do a privacy tent somewhere.
You could,
here,
yeah.
huh?
Well, sometimes you just put on some bathing suit or whatever, just to hose off whatever.
If you're alone, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Propane, more tools, I'm assuming. Just,
Recovery gear. That's where all my
perfect
straps and
spot,
stuff are. Yep. And then we got oils and stuff back here for the truck maintenance stuff. So.
Check this out. I opened it a minute ago. I thought I broke it. Thought something fell off. That's really cool. I got all the shots of the interior, man. That's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, see how close? Easy how close.
That was beautiful.
Not
Like a
bad for an
brand
old
new
truck.
car. That's a brand new car right there.
Yeah, close is nice.
What are you running? You got Falcons 30, I think you said 37?
These are 37-inch Falcons, and then I've got Raceline Monster beadlocks.
Okay. Well, those are real beadlocks.
Those are real beadlocks, yes. Yeah, because I really take it off-road.
Yeah. Well, we're really off-road right now. I just can't say thank you again enough for taking me out here and showing me this vehicle. 'Cause, like I said, when I saw it on SEMA, YouTube at SEMA, I fell in love with it. Never in my wildest dreams that I think I'd actually be out here with this vehicle and getting to talk to you about it.
It's good to have friends, even if they're ones like Robert.
I know, sometimes it pays off to put up with them a little bit. And they'll film for you. Hey, thank you so much, Roy. I really appreciate your time today and showing me this vehicle. Guys, I'm going to call it here. You're going to fall in love with this the more you watch this video, I promise, because there's just so many cool things about this. The color alone is amazing, right? So please like, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, hit the bell button. First Gear Off-Road. If you're not a follower, you need to be. You talk about learning about how this vehicle came to be, and there's another vehicle that maybe we can do another interview in front of one day soon, the red one. So if you want to see all that stuff, First Gear Off-Road, Adventure Forward, check that out on YouTube. Are you on Instagram as well?
I am.
On Instagram, same?
Mm-hmm.
Same on Instagram.
Yep.
Check that out, folks. You don't even have to come through me if you go straight to the source that way. So go check that out and follow him. Man, what a great day. What a great adventure this has been, just sitting here talking about this vehicle. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks again for doing this for me today on such a short notice.
Yeah, no problem.
And thank you, Robert, behind the scenes over there for hooking this
I
up.
forgot to hit record on that.
Yeah. All right, we're going to do it again.